Have you ever left a meeting thinking, how did we all just agree to that? Not because it was a great idea, but because it was the idea everybody else seemed to be nodding at. That's the herding effect, and it's shaping more decisions than you think, whether you're leading a team, buying a new tool, hiring a candidate, or making a strategic bet. Hi, I'm Mark Murphy, founder of Leadership IQ, and a New York Times bestselling author with books like Hiring for Attitude, Managing Narcissists and Blamers, and my newest groundbreaking book on teams called Team Players, the 5 Critical Roles You Need to Build a Winning Team. So, what is the herding effect? In plain English, herding is when people follow what the group is doing instead of relying on their own judgment, even when their private information is pointing them somewhere else. And herding isn't always dumb. Sometimes it's rational. If you're in an unfamiliar city and you see 2 restaurants, one is packed, one is empty, you're probably choosing the packed one. That's social proof. The crowd becomes a shortcut for information. But in organizations, that shortcut can turn smart people into echo chambers. Why do we herd? We want belonging, so disagreeing feels risky, especially alone. When things are uncertain, we assume others know something we don't. And when we're overloaded, copying is easier than thinking. Here's a twist. A lot of herding doesn't happen because someone made a brilliant argument. It happens because somebody spoke first, or spoke confidently, or spoke with a title. That first signal tells everyone else what's safe to say. 3 places the herding effect shows up constantly. First, markets and business trends. Financial markets are herding machines. People pile into hot assets and the buying itself becomes proof. You've seen the corporate version. One company announces we're going AI first, and suddenly everyone claims they're doing the same thing, even when they don't have the talent, data, or infrastructure to pull it off. Second, online ratings and popular opinions. Research shows that tiny early signals can snowball. One early upvote or 5-star review can tilt everything that follows because humans generally interpret popular as good. Early momentum can become a long-term advantage, so launches and pilots are as much about perception as performance. Third, team decisions. This is where leaders need to pay attention because herding can destroy the reason you have a team. The advantage of a team is supposed to be diverse information and perspectives. If people form judgments independently and then share them, right? But when everyone watches everyone else first, you don't get the wisdom of crowds, you get the conformity of crowds. Social influence can reduce group accuracy because it shrinks diversity of thought. Opinions converge, confidence rises, and the group can get worse. Here's what it looks like a senior executive floats an idea early. Heads start nodding. Few people have doubts, but they do the math. If I push back and I'm wrong, I'm the problem. If I stay quiet and we're wrong, we're all wrong together. So they nod too. That's the herding effect. And it gets worse when people get disengaged or not confident in their expertise. In that state, they imitate instead of contribute. They become passengers, creating the illusion of consensus. By the way, if your team struggles to make fast decisions, spread the work evenly, or have disagreements that actually lead somewhere, my latest book, Team Players, will show you exactly why and what to do about it. Now, the key distinction. Herding is not the same thing as alignment. Alignment is when people independently see the same reality and converge because the evidence leads there. Herding is when people converge because it's safer, easier, or emotionally soothing. They look identical, everybody agrees, but alignment produces strong execution. Herding produces fragile execution and hidden landmines. So what do you do about it? You don't fix herding by telling people, be independent. You design decisions so independence is built in. 4 moves work incredibly well. First, get independent input before discussion. Before the meeting, have people write down their recommendation and why, or give everyone 2 minutes to write before anyone speaks. The first speaker has outsized influence. Don't let the first voice become the steering wheel. Second, separate generating ideas from deciding. When teams brainstorm and decide in the same conversation, the strongest personality often wins. Third, normalize real dissent. Ask, who sees it differently? Then pause long enough for answers. If you want to break herding, assign someone to argue the other side. Not to be annoying, but to keep the group honest. Fourth, Watch for social proof shortcuts. If your team keeps saying, everyone's doing it, or competitors are moving this way, treat that as a warning sign. Sometimes following the market is smart. Other times it's how companies copy each other into the same mistake. And here's the counterintuitive leadership move. Sometimes you actually want herding. After debate and a decision, you want convergence and commitment, right? The trick is timing. Independent thinking first, herd-like execution second. Quick side note, this is exactly why I wrote Team Players. Teams don't just get stuck because they lack trust. They get stuck because the wrong roles drive the conversation. Too much follow the leader energy. Too little constructive challenge, and decisions that feel unanimous but actually aren't solid. Team Players shows you the 5 roles that prevent herd thinking and how to build a team where disagreement creates clarity instead of fear. So let me land this with one takeaway. If your team feels oddly agreeable, don't automatically celebrate. Ask, is this alignment or is this herding? Are we converging because we've shared real information and stress tested the decision, or because it's easier and safer to nod? Because the herding effect can make a team feel smooth right up until reality hits. If this was helpful, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode. And if you want more leadership tools you can use immediately, quizzes, research, courses, and a whole lot more, head over to leadershipiq.com. I'm Mark Murphy. I'll see you next time.